the new 2010 Sherco 2.9. It got a 5-pound diet, so it's 5 pounds lighter. All new plastics, very flexible. Of course, the new air box, way up high, so deep waters, no problem. All new frame, very narrow up front, and the rear subframe obviously is still extremely strong. There's no flexibility or movement at all. It's very solid back here, so it should be very durable. New forks with new aluminum internals, so we're saving some weight there, saving some weight on the frame, saving some weight on the skid plate, and obviously the new aluminum fuel tank. So that's how we're losing our 5 pounds. Okay, about the only thing the same this year on the 2010 Sherco is the motor. The motor's been bulletproof since day one. It's an awesome motor, creates lots of power, very easy to work on. The swing arm's the same this year, foot pegs, wheels and hubs. Everything else is brand new, so it should be an awesome bike. Air cleaner's very easy this year. No tools are required. 2 little tabs that tongue and groove up on the front here, and the Zeus fitting on the back. 4 prongs that hold the cage down onto the air filter element. To put it back on, just push it on the front, line up the back, push and turn the Zeus fitting. You're done. Okay, we're talking about the new 2010 airbox on the Sherco. The airbox cover here, you can see the foam on top of the lid, and then the actual filter foam is inside, and there's a ridge that runs across the whole top that fits in the groove on the lid, so it's totally watertight from the top. The only way air can come in is through the holes on the side. Okay, air and water coming through the side, nothing from the top. And this sits on the frame, right up on the frame like this, with 2 screws mounting. So very, very nice air box this year. Next is the intake boot to the carburetor. This is actually a 28mm intake boot, so it's already ready for the key and carburetor. So they're actually spacing out the Delorto carb. So anybody that wants to upgrade their bike to the key and carburetor, this boot is a perfect fit for the key in. Okay, this is the new aluminum fuel tank. Mounts on the subframe here and mounts on the exhaust. If you look inside, this is the Delorto fuel pump. This inlet goes to the manifold, so it's vacuum fuel pump. Then the other hose coming from the fuel tank to the pump, and then from the pump to the carburetor. And this extra hose here is the vent for the fuel tank. And this has a one-way check valve here. So this is how it vents. Then you got the fuel pump, and this is your fuel cap. Has an O-ring on the fuel cap, and very big hole, no problem getting fuel in. Okay, the 2010 exhaust, you can see, is mounted to the subframe here, the frame here, and then the frame over here. So you still have 3 mounting points, and it's still extremely rigid. No flexibility at all. Totally redesigned inners to create a new power curve. And you can see the exhaust comes out here. All new guard on the exhaust. The engine is mounted via this aluminum bracket, and the electronics are mounted to the aluminum bracket as well. All new spark plug, and actually all new cylinder this year. So the header pipe mounting on the cylinder, they moved the mounting brackets to the side, so the 2 Allens are easily accessible to get the exhaust off very easily. In your radiator, there's just 1 screw, but it's rubber mounted, and the bottom has 2 rubber grommets that pop right out, so it's all very flexible. You can see how narrow the new frame is here. all new tubular frame. Very strong design again. The way the motor's mounted in the frame is all new. The way the bolts go in, the way they're threaded, the way the nuts are, so it's easy to tighten up all the bolts on the motor mounts this year. All new short gear shifter, all new swing arm. All new skid plate this year. Very beefy with some holes in the front for lightening it up. A nice big hole in the back so you can get to the gear shifter real easy with the Allen wrench. And it has the race shifter this year, the short race shifter, so the ignition cover will come right off. You don't have to take the shifter off to get the ignition cover off. And to route the wires differently, they got a metal tab here holding the wire so the wire can't come out. Obviously all new radiator hoses. Okay, I was talking about the internals of the forks being all aluminum, and you can see the caps are all different also, so your adjustment for the dampening is a little bit different and your adjusting for the spring is a little bit different. So all new front forks. They changed the rear shock on the 2010 bike and the Tri-Link to make it more progressive and a little bit more heavier spring to deal with the extra weight on the rear end. But remember, the extra weight on the rear end is a good thing. The traction on this bike is going to be far superior than anything out there.